What is going on, Jerk Faces? It's your boy Andy, and you're watching Nocturnal Transmissions, brought to you by the Circle of Jerks podcast. Conversation you could be having during the day, but having at night. We were having a little bit of an issue getting tonight rolling, but here we are. Uh, uh, but we're here, we're streaming, we're live, and with me, as ever, co-piloting this thing is the homeboy Rob.
What's going on?
Jesus Christ. Nothing ever goes. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know if it's the weather or what, but everything is just falling apart.
It's not going well.
Well, now your window's like doing like that weird sliver thing where I
Do I
can't
need
see your
to?
face. No, I got this.
Andy just didn't want anybody to see me, so I'm all garbled and fucked up.
I mean, what else is new? But no, it's just
I'm sorry, I'm
I don't
not
know.
a.
Yeah, big titted 20-something. Yeah, me too. I think we're all regretful of that.
I get it. So you hide me off in some corner until you can
Anyway,
until you can find your perfect co-host.
yes. I'm count I count the days till I can replace Robert. But it's I don't know what day it is, day whatever of coronavirus self quarantine or whatever bullshit.
It's funny. There's I don't know if you're familiar with the Fallout games.
Uh huh.
It's a series of games where essentially the government called Vault-Tec, and they created
Yeah.
these, and it's like a society that's has developed nuclear technology, nuclear,
Nuclear. It's
nuclear
pronounced
technology.
nuclear. And there's your first Simpsons reference of the show.
It just happens. I don't plan for it to happen. It just happens. Anyways,
Yeah, it's like a Freudian
developed,
slip.
yeah, exactly. They've developed nuclear technology to the point where they've created a lot of these technological advances,
Mm-hmm.
but they create these vaults, to protect against potential nuclear attack. And uh, essentially, what happens is that nuclear attack happens, and the apocalypse happens. But these
Mm-hmm.
people are in the vaults. But what these vaults are these zones of human experimentation, and it
Mm-hmm.
like some of them are like really fucked up with what they essentially, there's like one vault like where it's essentially they kill off all the adults, and it's a vault full of children, and
Mm-hmm.
once you reach a certain age you either get exiled or killed. And so you kind of have this like Lord of the Flies type of vault, and
Uh-huh.
so it's all sorts of stuff. And this is kind of what this is all kind of making me think of is like, we're in some sort of like Vault-Tec experiment. Like we're being forced to stay in our homes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that far off. I mean, I think I just saw. I didn't read the whole article. I just saw a headline where it's like I think Denmark was it is trying to pass some sort of resolution forcing citizens to get vaccinated.
I had heard something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's been a fun society, but I think it's time for reorganizing of certain structures. Uh,
Yeah, but you know what's gonna happen 9 months from now? There's gonna be a lot of babies. Let's just say,
Touche, touche. Um, yeah, I mean, I really didn't, really wasn't expecting or wanting to, keep talking about Corona. But I guess we're not talking about it directly. This is more of like we're talking about the indirect consequences.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I just really didn't want to be, be uh, keep being on this topic. Um, but I think but it's just kind of unavoidable, and so I guess we will have to go. Well, we'll be talking specifically about a certain aspect of this coronavirus, or like the results of the coronavirus, and the kind of like self quarantine or social distancing. I don't know why, but I really hate that word, social distancing.
God, it's such a dumb term.
It sounds like such a pussy word, you know. Like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
socially
exactly.
distancing. Like, it just like when I use it when I have like no other choice but to use it. I kind of just want to punch myself in my own dick.
It's like it's like I feel like punching my own, my own face. Yeah, it's just
Yeah, it's just like yeah, I just make it. I just feel like a pussy. I just feel like a pussy when I say that word. Right? Yeah, when I uttered that phrase, social distancing. So, oh, let's practice social distancing. It's like, oh, it's like I want to kick. I forget. There's a Simpsons reference in there somewhere, like where Nelson's like, oh, I feel like I gotta kick my own ass.
yeah. Oh, that was the Lisa's date with Density, where she uh dates Nelson, and like she dresses him up in like this nerdy
Oh, that's
ensemble.
right. That's right. Yeah, the with the sweater vest and
Yeah,
and like the
it's
chinos. He's like, and he looks himself in the mirror. He's like, oh man, I feel like I gotta kick my own ass.
yeah. I feel like punching myself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I feel. That's how I feel when I use that word. Just don't know why.
Yeah,
I mean, I
hell,
do know why because it's like such. It's such like. I could respect quarantine. Like, I'm quarantining myself. But social distancing just sounds like pussy words.
yeah. I exactly self quarantine. Got it. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But
But social distancing. Ugh. God.
fuck off. I hate that term.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. You got. There's more in store. Later down the line. We are kind of doing makeup stream, not like doing makeup, but kind
Oh
of
my god! Like my rouge is just.
I know, like the proper, we're not gonna do like the proper application for self quarantine or whatever. Uh, you know,
Mad Max, like,
yeah, it's like, oh, even though you're self quarantine, you gotta make sure your foundation's on fleek. Um, No, we're not doing that kind. Because last week was such an unmitigated disaster of a stream. We'll be moving. We'll be doing the movie review from last week to this week, uh, as well as two new topics for discussion. But
sounds like a plan
yeah,
to me.
right. So yeah, since we do have some stuff to get through, we pretty much kind of covered you know, mostly we probably covered mostly how our weekend was with the all the Corona craziness, and so I think we
I've
should just move into the first movie review, which is last week's movie.
Yeah, like outside of work. I've been right here doing jack shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna be temporary. It's so funny. I just the irony just hit me so hard. It's like I just started work and now I have to go on a break.
Man, you worked so hard, Andy,
I know
for
I worked
those.
so hard that first 3 weeks.
Now it's time to
I
put your feet up and
know, right? Yeah, time to put now, right? Yeah, those first 3 weeks, man, I put in a lot of time. I'm gonna kick up my feet, and relax. It's just funny, yeah, because the last thing I did was I went to the building and like public works office for the city, and they had like a line, they had like they were only allowing like certain amount of people into the office at a time, and like
yeah,
there was an old man he was getting angry because there were like two lines. Like, why are there two lines? Like, are you allowing why are you allowing people supposedly who are here for like quick work to go in before everybody else? And temperature. I mean, yeah, tempers were flaring up a bit.
yeah. It's getting too fucking ridiculous, dude.
I don't know. I was annoyed too because it's like, why have two lines? If you're limiting the people going in there, but you're giving like some like special like preference to a person who says like they have to do something that, from what I saw, everyone still had to wait in line, to be seen by someone, at in this office. So it's like it didn't really make a difference.
Yeah,
But
it's like I said, it's people being dumb and inefficient.
yeah, and I mean it's the government, so it's like of course they're inefficient. Of course they're counterintuitive, and their reasons make no sense. But luckily, I'm someone who's learned how, not, I've mastered the art of not giving a fuck.
That is true.
I didn't even have to read the book. Like that book that person wrote. That the title literally is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
I think you're the inspiration for that book.
I might have been. I literally, yeah, because I was like, this old man was behind me. It's like, why are you letting them in? Like, what? Why is there two lines? There should only be one line. I was like, bruh, it doesn't matter because you're gonna get in there. I was like, it's like fuck, it's fucking Corona's going on right now. Everything is being shut down. The phrase "hurry up and wait" has never been more applicable than in this situation. It's just like, so calm your tits. That's what I mean. Because I mastered the art of not giving a fuck. I thought all this, but I didn't say it to them because it was just been a thing. And I'd rather unsheathe my sword for something truly worthy, as it
Oh
were.
yeah.
And an argument with like this old man would not have been worthy of my sword. So I kept it sheathed.
No,
And
no, definitely not.
yeah. But yeah, it's just like uh, so yeah, I mastered the art of not giving a fuck, and it's just like and I was still able to complete my task with relative ease and uh, minimal minimal time waiting in line.
Oh, good. That's good.
Yeah, so it all so everything worked out. I was I mean, I don't know what that old man had to take care of, but I understand his urgency. But it's like him getting angry at some peon who is just told to do something, by their supervisor is not going to help things.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
So, all right, let's get
All right,
into
so
the movie. What was
should
that?
we conclude last week? We'll conclude last week's business by talking about Miller's Crossing.
Yes, exactly. Yes, let me just pull up the synopsis here for y'all. Yeah, Miller Crossing came out in 1990. It's a drama thriller. It takes place um, is it the Prohibition era? No, or is it
Yeah, it's Prohibition era.
okay? It's a Prohibition era. Chicago, I believe it is,
Yeah, I
or
think I think that's
more
right.
likely, yeah. They
I
never
don't think
really
they never really named the town.
right. They never really specify. It's more of a kind of presumed thing that they're talking. You know that this place is like set in Chicago or what have you.
Yeah, a
Oh
typical
well,
gangster.
yeah, because like the whole like the spectacular corruption of the local government. It could only have been Chicago.
Bingo.
Yeah, which we will get into because it is kind of comical. The level of corruption of the local government. And there is an instance that I will highlight to illustrate that. But yeah,
Uh,
quickly the synopsis. When the Italian mafia threatens to kill a crooked bookie, Irish mob boss Leo O'Bannon refuses to allow it, chiefly because he's dating the bookie's sister, crafty gun moll Verna Birnbaum. Leo's right-hand man, Tom Regan, is also seeing Verna on the sly, and when he's found out, is obliged to switch sides, going to work for the Italian mob amidst a dramatically escalating gang war over liquor distribution. So yes, as we said, Miller's Crossing came out in 1999, drama thriller, set within Depression era Chicago. Written, is it written? Yes, it was written and directed by the Coen brothers. One of their earlier works. And I don't know exactly where to start off with this.
well, I'll start off with it's kind of set in the guise of like one of like a neo noir film. It's supposed to be kind of this dark and kind of gritty style story. Similar to like your Chinatown or the great noir films of the past. Um,
or
and
even Untouchables.
yeah, like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, I really wanted to be invested in this movie and to
Mm-hmm.
like it, but it was so mediocre that
Mm-hmm.
it's like it was kind of it was a very lukewarm movie. Because we've seen some bad movies where it's like it's so bad it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but this is just so eh, middle of the road. I mean, the acting is not, it's okay.
Uh-huh.
The story is okay. Um, the cinematography is okay, but that's everything's just kind of okay. It's not bad, but it's not really good either.
Um, I mean I agree with your assessment. Insofar as a lot, that it is pretty middle of the road, lukewarm attempt. But I think some of the I just was looking and I noticed that Barry Sonnenfeld was the cinematographer. And
Hmm.
for those of you unaware, he also did Men in Black. He was the director of Men in Black.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and so and it was interesting because I don't know if you really recall Men in Black, but um, But just finding that out right now, I like some of the shots uh, were they definitely revealed Barry Sonnenfeld's hand. Like some of like the tracking shots, like when Tom Regan is about is sent into the woods to kill what's his face.
The bookie, Verna's brother.
Yeah,
I forget his name
yeah, me too.
because none of the characters were memorable.
I want to say Bernie.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Bernie Birnbaum. Yeah, Bernie Birnbaum. He sent, and then there's a shot, and Tom shows some compassion on him and allows him to run away. And there's the kind of the dolly shot that kind of pans back around as he's running away. That felt very like Barry Sonnenfeld. Like I've seen that before, like in Men in Black.
that that makes sense now. Yeah, now I didn't draw that um
Mm-hmm.
conclusion
Mm-hmm.
when I was watching it, but that actually makes a lot of sense.
Right, and like the shot, like I mean, I think one of the better shots where the mob boss Albert Finney's character Leo, yeah, Leo O'Bannon, when he's attacking his home, and then he takes he kind of turns the table on his attackers, and then he goes out in the middle of the street and he's like wielding the Tommy gun, and there's like that shot of him like kind of upwards as he's firing the Tommy gun. It's like that seemed very reminiscent of something I seen in Barry Sonnenfeld's work. Well,
Yeah, and that was also kind of like a Men in Black style.
right, yeah, like if you remember the first one where like where Agents J and K they shoot down the alien craft, and there's a shot from like upwards up at the two characters. It's very similar
Yeah,
to this movie in the scene that I just referenced.
okay. I would say that's probably the best scene in the film is the
Mm,
attack on Leo O'Banion.
mm,
That's where I was like, okay, all right, now we're getting somewhere. All right, and then that was kind of the last like really exciting scene in the film.
mm. Right. And yeah, and I thought Miller's Crossing, the title of the movie, would be more significant, uh, especially because a lot of TV shows and a lot of well, specifically TV shows, they use that title very often as well. Um,
Yeah, like it was mentioned not even like a full handful of times, and
right, and it just
outside
turns
of it
out
being a place where they made people disappear.
right, exactly. And so and I thought in again because I haven't seen the movie up until this point, um, but I thought Tom Regan would have been Miller, like, and I thought his name would have been Miller as well. So then it might have been because in a weird way or not weird, but it may be a more artful way. Um, it could have been like a double meaning because, you know, if let's say Tom Regan, his last name was Miller, so Tom Miller went to Miller's Crossing
Right,
and he had to make a decision, and he made that decision, kind of like the old adage of like crossing the Rubicon. There's no turning back after you cross the Rubicon.
right.
And I think and if that there was like a double meaning where Tom Miller goes to Miller's Crossing and he decides not to kill Bernie Birnbaum. That could have been like kind of like the uh,
So like
kind of
he has a
the
character
linchpin of the
change.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
like
had
where he
like
has a
yeah.
character change going from
Mhm.
kind of this mob you know mob hand to you kind of being a more of a heroic figure.
Mhm.
and having to deal with the consequences of that.
Right. I mean, it still could work because it could, it's still like where everything changed for Tom Regan. It's like he chose not to cross that line. He chose not to, because up until that point, and it's interesting because Tom Regan is afforded this gravitas within the criminal underground, where everyone likes him or respects him, but we don't really see him. Um, we don't really see why. He's not like like to reference Godfather. He's not like a Luca Brasi character where we know that Luca Brasi is the muscle, and so people respect him because they fear him. But
He's more like Tom, in
Tom
The
Hagen, yeah,
Godfather
yeah,
than
yeah,
Luca
yeah,
Brasi.
right. Tom Hagen, it's a Robert Duvall's character, the lawyer
Right,
consigliere, the right hand of Don Corleone. Uh, but but then even for Tom Hagen, it's a different kind of respect, um, as opposed to Tom Regan's character, where that there's like there's like that people give there's supposed to be this gravitas around him, and he's supposed to be you know kind of like the lion tamer or the snake charmer that that Leo O'Bannon only listens to him. But like
right.
I don't necessarily see why that would be. I'm not fully sold on I'm not fully sold on Tom Regan's reputation.
We're not really given anything to about like how he earned that reputation, or
Right. It's kind of
um,
like the whole Baba Yaga thing in John Wick, where there's a story behind why people fear John Wick. Um, because he did like
right.
this. He did the impossible. He garnered like all these kills in a single night. But for Tom Regan, there isn't a comparable story. Um, it's just like
Because
he
if you
just
really
he.
think about it, the thing um, about him is that it almost seems like he's never killed anyone. Um,
Hmm,
and
hmm,
because the whole point, he would, as he had kind of crossed sides, from one crime family to another,
hmm,
he was asked kill the um, to kill Bernie, but
hmm.
he didn't want to do it. That's why
Right.
he was hesitating, meaning that he's probably never killed anyone,
Hmm.
until like the it will get to the point where he actually finally does kill somebody. But up to that point, I don't think he'd ever killed anybody
Right.
and
Or
didn't want to do it.
there
So,
was an
and
extra sense of hesitation because Bernie was Verna's brother, the girl that he's sleeping with, behind his boss's back.
right, right.
Um, but yeah, but but what you said, how it seems like he's never killed anyone. That sounds more right though.
Yeah, it just because I didn't see it as a hesitation because of Verna or anybody. I saw it
Hmm.
more as a hesitation because like, how can I get out of this?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because yeah, again, like you said, hesitation wasn't out of some sort of loyalty to either Bernie or Verna, but just more like I never killed anyone. This isn't the thing that I'm hired for.
Right.
So which makes
And,
it
but like, well, it makes it to me. The point I was trying to make is that why I find his character a little bit unbelievable is because how did he get so high up in this, you know, mob family that he's never killed anyone? That seems kind of
right.
like ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. No one is part of the mob that doesn't have a body. You know. Um, I mean, again, I guess you can make the. I mean, to make an exception in Godfather. Tom Hagen. He's probably never killed anybody. But he's still afforded a level of respect.
But it's believable in with his character.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with him being kind of a lawyer who, but he grew up with, he was adopted by the Corleone family.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he's in a highly respected position helping the family makes a ton of sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. 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 Yeah. So I think one of the issues was just about this movie was just the really poor character development. Um, but again, even though there was a lot of, well, at the time they weren't that big, but they would eventually become like pretty big names like John Turturro, freaking who's that guy? Uh, Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi's in this movie.
Oh, yeah. That's right, he's in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean Albert Finney, but he's Albert Finney, so.
Yeah. Um, those are the eventual big names that I could remember from
Mm, right. I think at least out of the cast that's shown here on the internet, yeah, those are the only like big names that were to come out of this movie.
but yeah, the just this film, I just I don't know. I think I was disappointed because I tend to like this genre of film,
Hmm.
and the
Hmm.
fact that I don't feel like it lived up to it. Like it didn't give me enough to care about these characters.
Right. It just missed the mark. I mean, stylistically and technically, they were all solid movies, but in terms of the story and like the development of the characters, it just was lacking.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I would put it. Yeah,
Um,
like I said, so I mean, for me, like the memorable scenes were the um, was it Leo when he was attacked in his home? That was a really good scene.
mhm.
Um, and that's really it because the end scene was not, or the last couple of scenes in the film really kind of were anticlimactic in a way
Hmm.
because you have so eventually Tom does end up killing somebody. He kills Bernie
Hmm.
because that guy is freaking off his rocker and probably he deserved to be killed. He was yeah,
Yeah,
the
I
guy that
mean, he
was
was not like he wasn't. I mean, in a movie full of mobsters, he had like the least. He was the least ethical
yeah
of the characters. He was like, even though Tom totally did him a favor and not killed him. He came back and was
yeah
trying to blackmail him. Um, so
exactly.
like he demonstrates that he has no like loyalties. Um, that he's totally in it for himself. And he really is like a waste of skin.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of the argument that the the mob boss was making at the beginning of the film. It's
Hmm.
like I need to get this guy whacked. He's terrible. There's no ethics behind him,
That's
and it's like
right.
yeah,
That's right. Ethics. Ethics.
that was his main thing was ethics, and
Hmm.
he could, and the fact is he was right, because that guy Bernie was awful, and that was kind of the whole strain, was this kind of triangle of people going against each other,
Mhm.
all against kind of the same person who,
Right.
he's Leo doesn't want to kill him because he's, stripping his
Verna's
sister.
brother. Yeah, Verna's brother,
Um,
and the Italian mob boss wants to kill him because he's like scamming him, off of off of bets,
and then
and
like Tom wants to have him. Tom doesn't, want to support him because it's going to keep the peace if he's dead. So, and then you have the other guy who's like supremely angry about it with this guy, and it's like, listen, he's going to make you a lot of trouble. Don't, just grant him this request, and didn't happen.
and it's interesting also like well, I mean, I referenced it earlier, but like the kind of the shifting power dynamics and like the corruption that was so rampant within Chicago at that time, where in the beginning, the mayor and the chief of police, they were meeting with Leo Bannon, but
Yeah,
after some some misfortune befalls him or some perceived weakness, they switch sides and they go meet with the Italian mob boss, Johnny Casper.
yeah, that's right.
And so and like when Tom is initially approached by Johnny Casper's people to come and join their side, the cops are right there, Johnny on the spot to get his ass out of danger. But when again the fortunes the power dynamic shifts, um, and he's caught up by Leo's people, it's the cops are there again to rescue him under the orders of Johnny Casper.
Yeah, it's funny how, as it was essentially a mob run city, and the
Mm-hmm.
officials were kind of like, were the lackeys, and kind
Right,
of,
right, right. Yeah,
they,
and like to the point where after the the mayor and the chief of police came under the thumb of Johnny Casper, Johnny Casper tried to get two of his relatives into city government. I forget
yeah,
what position, but he's like, oh, you're not the mayor, I'm the mayor. And like get out of my office. Even though it was the mayor's office, he ordered the
yeah,
mayor to leave his own office.
yeah, exactly. And that's Chicago politics for you. It's been corrupt as fuck for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, or yeah. Um,
Anything else you kind of remember about the film that, that caught your mind, or something you liked or didn't like?
um, no, I think yeah, I think that I did find it a little weird that Tom was so easily able to manipulate these two warring factions and come out of the barely scathed. Um,
Yeah, that
and
was
to the
that was
point,
weird
and
too.
yeah, and to the point where like at the end, Leo kind of forgives him and even asks him to come back and work for him. Um,
Yeah, and it's like it didn't sit right with me, because none of it felt right as far as the story.
mhm,
Um, and even like the shifting dynamics, like it wasn't like, they kind of made it more convoluted than needed to be,
mhm,
and you kind of don't care about the characters, so you're like, I don't know. I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah, you're just not invested uh, in these characters or what's going on or how anything really shakes out.
But yeah, no, it was yeah, highly mediocre film, unfortunately. I really wanted to like it.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
And the box office reflected its mediocrity. It flopped.
Mm. Not surprising. Not surprising.
Yeah, I think it lost. Like it didn't even make
Didn't make its budget
half a.
back.
Yeah, it didn't even like it. I think it was like I want to say it was like they put in, was it like 10 or 11 million on the film, maybe more.
Probably. Uh, Budget was 10 to 14 million, but
That's right. Yeah,
with probably with because they don't include the advertising budget, so probably be closer to 20 million.
yeah, and it didn't even make half of it back.
It made a quarter. It made $5 million.
Yikes.
Jeez.
That's gonna be a little bit of a mini theme in tonight's films.
Yes. Although a happier ending for the latter.
That is true.
Yeah. All right, let's give our ratings. I'll go first.
All right.
I'm gonna give this movie a 2.
I was gonna give it a 2 as well.
Mm.
I'll throw it a bone. I'm gonna give it a 2 as well. I'll throw it a
Okay.
bone. Just because I honestly I want to go 1.5 so bad. Um,
uh-huh.
but it's not even like it's one of those weird things. Like I almost wish it was so bad that it was
Hmm.
good, because then it's
Right.
like I could give it more stars just because like I liked it a lot more,
Uh-huh.
or I could at least laugh at it. But I don't know. There's something about like it's just lukewarm. It's just it's unpleasant. Um,
Yeah. I get
so
it.
yeah, I'll give it a 2. Um, really nothing spectacular about the film. Not a lot of it's not bad acting, but nothing really stands out. The You're not really given a whole lot of background on the characters. Just yeah. I mean, if you're a Coen Brothers fan, I think you should watch it. If you're a fan of the noir genre, this is a movie you should watch. And if yeah, I mean, give it. You can give it a watch for those reasons, um, and see for yourself. Maybe you'll like it more than us. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll think like, God, 2 stars, man. You guys are being really generous. It's like a half star.
I don't know. I think my 2 star is it's very appropriate. It's not. It's not. It's It's not. I'm not slamming it for slamming. For slamming it, and but I'm
Yeah,
not like. But I'm not. But I'm not pissing on it either.
we're giving it's first crossing, if you will.
Exactly. Yeah. We're. um. Yeah, there you have it. That's our review for Miller's Crossing. Robert and I both give it a 2, although Robert gives his 2 begrudgingly. Like Robert said, if you're a Coen Brothers fan, yeah, you should definitely watch this out just to see, where, kind of see like their evolution, to see like where they came from to like where they hit their stride. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't think we can give this an enthusiastic. Circle of Jerks or Nocturnal Transmissions recommendation?
I would say, the it's one of those things like it's funny. There's a YouTuber. He has and he does stuff on games and he'll rate games,
Mhm.
and he has some of his lower ratings are like donate it if it's bad, or if
Mhm.
it's like kind of like mediocre to like it's kind of like a look at it, play it. I would say it's somewhere at like yeah, look at it. It's especially like I said, especially if you're a Coen Brothers fan, you can this is part of their evolution to some of their bigger hits later on.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's get into some of the topics of discussion. Um, let's do the panic buying first.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
So, all right, for those of you who either live on a farm or who are stupid rich and don't even have to worry about this kind of stuff, but since news of the coronavirus came out, and more and more regulations on people's movements came out. People have been buying pretty much anything that's not bolted down at stores. In particular, um,
It's like all that's left is the corn nog and wadded beef. That yeah.
yeah. I had uh, a limited experience of this. The other day, I was coming home from work, and I wanted to grab just a gallon of milk because we were out, and I like to put milk in my coffee as opposed to artificial creamer or just creamer in general. So I
Right.
went I went to the dairy case, and there was nothing left save for the coffee creamer.
So much
I
for all
thought,
the Joaquin Phoenix fans.
I know, right? Yeah, the anti cow anti milking uh, speech that he gave when he won the Oscar.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. Look at all that murder that went on, in
I know
that
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 murder,
milk case.
right? When will people learn?
But yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, dude. Like, it's or they're buying like 9 bunches of bananas. It's like, dude, you're not gonna get through all those. Like, are you just gonna hang out in a tree and just shove bananas down your gullet?
Right, and I don't know why, but what's the deal with toilet paper? I mean, you only have one asshole. You don't need 48 rolls of it.
Are they planning on having diarrhea like an insane amount? Yes.
I mean, maybe I don't know. I mean, if you're eating 9 bananas, uh, in a few days, then potassium might help things, get things moving along a bit. But it's all just so unnecessary.
All I thought of is like, man, these guys don't know how to use the 3 seashells. Are they crazy?
Yeah. Yeah, if you follow our Instagram account, I did put up a post uh, talking about talking about how Demolition Man might have had at least one good idea, and the idea was that in the future they didn't use toilet paper anymore. They used these three seashells to clean themselves after after making number two. and it's something that haunts Robert's dreams. He's constantly thinking
Seriously,
about what could be the function of those three seashells.
I wake up
It,
once or twice a week since we watched, wondering about the three seashells.
I mean, yeah. If you have a theory, let us know. Put it in the comments, or hit us up on our social media. Instagram Circle Jerks Podcast, and Twitter @Podcast EOJ with your three seashell theories.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. What you think could possibly be the function of those three seashells.
My thought was like maybe bidet, but like there's no like water jet coming out of there. So
Or at least not one that's mentioned.
yeah,
Uh,
it's
yeah, I was actually thinking of that too. It's like maybe it was a way to like refract like the water jet up into your butthole using the seashells. Uh, but yeah, they don't talk about like the bidet style water jet, so that couldn't possibly be it.
like I said, I wake up once or twice a week thinking about that. Especially
And
now with all the toilet paper, you know, uh,
the great,
hoarders.
yeah, the great TP apocalypse of 2020.
They're trying to be the
Yeah.
great cornholio.
That's right. Oh yeah, I am the great
No,
Cornholio. I need
no,
TP for my
you
bunghole.
know, there had to be somebody that was trying to going around like Beavis, just running around saying that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah. I mean, some of the younger viewers, they might not necessarily get that reference, but for us old timers, it's fucking hilarious. Yeah, but I
It should be
mean, I
fun.
don't know, like, yeah, I don't understand, but I don't understand like this, panic buying stuff. Um,
Well, here's why I think it happens, and
okay, do enlighten us.
it it's the people do this because they find it's like it kind of like the Democrats, like don't let a good crisis go to waste. Where let me buy 900 cases of toilet paper, and when there's no more toilet paper, now I can sell it back at twice or three times the rate because people are fucking freaking out because there's none of this stuff, and that's what they're thinking. So they're essentially creating a black market for toilet paper or whatever product is needed. And so instead of people just not acting like fucking crazy people, and just buy normally like you would, just because if you really think about it, like when this wasn't happening, right? There really wasn't that many people at the grocery store. If you really think it, if you go throughout the day, like when I go, like it's usually around like 12. Not really a whole bunch of people at the grocery store. Maybe at most 50. And that, I mean, the most busy time is definitely in the evening. After right after like work is closed, kind of the quote unquote rush hour. But like even
Mm-hmm.
then, like that's at its worst. Maybe like on a Saturday or Sunday, like at Costco that gets a little bit crazy. But regular grocery stores, man, it's there was no need for that to happen. Yeah, we're the thing is, a lot of these places they're still producing toilet paper. They're still producing these things, that are
Right.
kind of essential for everyday life.
Uh,
So why are you going and just fucking going ape shit? And it just essentially
well, I think
you have a media that's creating a frenzy that doesn't need to be there. And because people are too stupid to think things through, they go and do this, and well, at first you get like you get the people that hoard shit, and then people start to panic, and then it creates this huge problem, and now nobody has anything except for like 10% of the people who don't really need it have stuff.
Right. I mean, yes, there are certain population, assholes who will hoard just to sell it back at an inflated rate. But I think a lot, I think a lot of it is just scared people. Scared people because of media. We're constantly stoking people's fear. You know, uh, I was getting I was home and my parents were watching the news and my sister she was watching the news and just like and like my sister like every like morning she would like call me or something and say, oh, make sure you take your hand sanitizer and da da da. It's like I'm not freaking. It's like I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to freak out, but I'm just being cautious. It's like that is you freaking out. That is you worrying about it. But you're saying to me that you're just being cautious, but it's like you're freaking out. That's freaking out. Um, and yeah, and again, it's just mostly good people who are just freaked out, who are scared into thinking that you know with the travel ban, shipments aren't gonna come in, or supply lines are gonna be cut off. So like so that they need to make sure that they have enough supplies for however long this is gonna be. Ideally, you're told to have at least 3 months worth of supplies on hand for any like type of emergency. But it's just like you know we know that things like this can happen, but it's like we don't prepare enough for it.
Well, it makes you think is like, damn, dude, like, are people, not prepared for any sort of disaster at all ever? Because,
Well, I mean,
think about it. I mean,
think back to when we had like those earthquakes, and I saw a news report talking about like how uh, the kind of army surplus stores or places that sold like emergency kits, their business was like went through the roof because
yeah,
people didn't prepare. They even though we live in California, we live in earthquake country, and also now because of certain policies, in a very high risk wildfire area that no one is prepared. Hence the booming business for the army surplus guy or survival kit selling guy, or even just or uh, what is it like those fireproof safes, so you could safeguard your valuables and your important documents in case of a fire. No one
yeah.
prepares for this thing, even though we know we should. I mean, and I'm not here to cast stones either because I'm not prepared either. Hence my needing to go buy milk yesterday. Um,
How could you not buy like 6 gallons, dude?
I know. What is wrong with me?
I think you, I think you were too influenced by Joaquin Phoenix.
I might have been. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just that it's nobody thinks about this stuff. They really don't, even though we know we should. I mean, it's been instilled. I mean, I don't, it's been. I don't know about the more younger generation, but it's been instilled in us since the very beginning. Like in elementary school, we were constantly told, "Oh, have an earthquake emergency kit. Food enough for a couple of days. Flashlight with extra batteries, a radio, yada yada yada."
Right, right.
But I mean, I don't know. Is it just that we've been lulled into this false sense of security? Um, or is it? Or, yeah, false sense of security, or as have our lives become so comfortable that we don't really have to worry about material needs.
That's
I mean,
pretty possible. Yeah.
that's. I mean, right now that those are the most likely things uh, that stop people from thinking thinking 5 minutes in front of their noses.
Yeah.
Um, it's just like the ease and convenience of modern day life. I mean, with Amazon Prime, we can get things within 2 days. I know a friend of mine. She told me that she rarely even goes out to buy toilet paper. Like this was a long time ago, but she confided or she told me that she doesn't even go out to get toilet paper. She just orders it off of Amazon, like kind of like regular shipments, and and it just shows up.
Yeah, that's well, it's funny because like through work, because we yeah, we're getting a lot of people ordering, all those things through which is great, more business for us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. But yeah, it's I mean, we're getting like full pallets that are just like toilet paper or like stuff from through like the Amazon like the Prime Foods or whatever, like their food thing.
At the
So
Whole Foods.
yeah, so it's crazy, man. It's just what people are doing, and honestly, like I am not, because I'm not like panicked or anything like that, like
Mm-hmm.
whatsoever. Half the reason like why I'm kind of just staying in is just more because other people are worried about me, and I was like, all
Mm-hmm.
right, I'll just I'll kind of limit my time outside. All right, I can do that, to allay the fears of people that I care about. So
Yeah, and I mean, and for me, it's just like I've so mastered the art of not giving a fuck. It's just,
well, like I mean, like what we
I
talked
just can't be
about.
bothered. I just can't be bothered with this because I just see through everything now, which is kind of
Yeah,
cool, but it's also just like, God, why, if I can see it, why the hell can't anyone else see through this?
I mean, we
This is all fear porn.
talked about all this stuff like last week. The it's one of those election year things. Oh, another disaster all of a sudden. It's kind of weird how that works out, right? And then you have
Right on election year.
yeah, just kind of like right at a crucial point of the campaign and all this like campaigns and stuff, and you kind of see the some of the sinister um parts of our government because it's okay, like, I'm glad the government is taking it seriously. Okay, great, that's fine. I'd rather them overreact than underreact in a time like this. But they're trying to create these kind of some of these emergency funding bills.
Mhm.
Oh, but no, 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 we need to have some sort of abortion thing on there, or oh, we need kind of
Oh
this
yeah,
this
yeah, I
other
heard about that with
this other thing
Nancy
on there. It's
Pelosi.
like, what the fuck does this have to do with anything to do with this? Get that shit out of there.
Hmm.
And then, what it is, it's creating something where it's like, no, we can't vote on this. This is ridiculous. But
Right, because
what they're saying is like, oh,
it's wrapped in emergency legislation for the current crisis. So if you vote against it, then it makes you look like a cold-hearted bastard. But what they
yeah,
don't tell
exactly.
you
Well, because
is the piece of shit right in the middle of it that's trying to fund that's trying to get Planned Parenthood funded in the midst of this supposed crisis.
yeah, the Planned Parenthood, Green New Deal riders that are on there, it's like, no.
Yeah.
But all that's being shown is that it's like, oh, this administration, they didn't take care, they don't care about the American people. And it's like, no, that's just you're an evil person. That's what it is.
Right.
That
Yeah, everyone should
they
know
either
that Corona is not the virus. It's fear. Fear is the virus.
yeah,
Because it's the thing it's the thing that truly destroys. I mean, this is just a movie, but there's truth in it. Apocalypto. Um, you know, uh,
yeah,
the the main character. He's out with in a hunting party with like some of his friends and his father, and they happen upon like kind of like these fleeing refugees from this other village that was attacked by like the Mayans, and and like the main character, he was affected by he was infected by fear of what he saw, and the father told the friends to go on ahead, and he said it's like not you. You wait out here until the fear leaves you, because that's more dangerous than any like than that's more dangerous than a jaguar, or I forget exactly what he said, but
Yeah, yeah,
basically that's what he says, because the fear is the thing that poisons. Because if he went in there like you know freaking the fuck out, that would have spread to his wife, his kids, his neighbors, um, everyone in everyone in his village, and his father knew that, and that's why he held him back and said, "Hey, calm the fuck down, get your shit together, and then we can go."
yeah. And that's exactly what's happening. And
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. The media is, I mean, and the media is constantly streaming like 24/7. It's like, oh, update coronavirus, da 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 da. New government restrictions, and that's the other thing that's going unsaid is the tightening of the screws on civil liberties. Like, oh, that's like before it was like you can't congregate in groups bigger than 250 people. Now they shrunk it down to 10 people,
yeah,
and it's like if you don't do that, we'll throw you in jail. It's like no, they won't. No, they won't. They won't throw you in jail for. So you're saying that if there are 11 people, they're going to throw you in jail. They're going to throw all of those 11 people in jail. No, they won't.
it's like
They're
I'd
not going
love
to
to
do
see
it.
them try.
Yeah, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do it for 11 people. They're not going to do it for 12 people. They're not going to do it for 20 people. They're not going to do it for 50 people. All right? Because it's bullshit.
Yeah, the other thing that's like I'm seeing about this that kind of pisses me off is the you get these people on these blue check marks on Twitter who are saying it's like, see, look at all this, like, all this stuff that the government can do right away in this emergency situation. You're telling me Medicare for all can't be passed? It's like, no, fuckwad, because this is supposed to be, it's what's called a emergency funding, where it's supposed to be temporary, and this isn't meant to be, you know, you know, uh, continuous ad nauseum, like, in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Though, of course, if with the these dumb riders that they keep throwing on like these emergency bills, yeah, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make these programs and things permanent.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Patriot Act. The Patriot Act was only supposed to last for what? Like 10 years. 10 years. But every single year since the the first deadline, it's been passed. No questions asked.
Yeah, I think
The
that's
Patriot Act was supposed to be temporary. It was emergency powers given to George Bush during a time of crisis. But now it's just grandfathered into every new administration.
yeah, that and it's kind of horrifying to think about, though.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're saying yeah, so you're saying that we should just carte blanche, just make it so that people, everyone just gets Medicare for free. I mean, not free because taxes would then eventually go up, and someone always has to pay. Someone always has to pay.
Yeah,
So you're saying that you want you want the same thing that's happening with the Patriot Act, does which is unconstitutional. It goes against the Constitution. You want that. You want the same thing happen with Medicare for all as the same thing with the Patriot Act.
yeah. Well, and then the other thing that's fucking hilarious too, that well, hilarious and like infuriating at the same time. So like when all this was it back a few weeks ago when Trump was trying to kind of like put some screws on the borders and letting people in and out of the country. Oh, this is overreacting, racist. And it's like this isn't going to do anything to help protect the spread of this virus that's going
Right.
around. And then it's like he's talking about he wasn't saying that the virus itself was a hoax, although there's who knows. But
I'm
anyway,
more of the hoax camp. Like literally, like this virus is a hoax. I'm leaning
but
more towards that camp every day. But
his point was that it's the media panic that's the hoax.
hmm,
And then now that he's in a sense I think been kind of strong armed into
mhm.
everything. Yeah, I'd say as far as having to take like these actions. Um, that's the now he was like, oh, now finally, Trump is taking things seriously. Like he was taking things seriously like a month ago, and you guys fucking gave him shit for it. So it's like, what is it that you want from him exactly? And the
Right.
fact that like the we shouldn't be constantly looking to the government for like help us.
That was something that's what I was just about to bring up
Because
too,
to be
because
honest, like
yeah, like what was it like? Governor Cuomo in New York was demanding that Trump help with tests, virus tests or whatever, and then and then at a press conference, I remember I think CNN reporter was saying like, oh, like it's like why? He's like, why aren't you helping the states that need it the most? Like they're asking for help, and then Trump just said like, well, they should be able to take care of themselves. I mean, why it's like why at every kind of crisis that happens do they automatically come like immediately and automatically come to the federal government asking for aid?
it's New York City is one of the richest cities in the world. How are they not able to take care of themselves? I understand if it's like some bumfuck Texas or Oklahoma somewhere where it's like they don't really have a anything going on there.
Right.
Getting some maybe uh federal aid, okay, that makes maybe a little bit more sense, but Los Angeles and like San Francisco and New York and uh, like Dallas and all these places, like these are rich cities. Like they can take care of themselves. And
Well,
those
right. Yeah.
states are a lot of money.
Yeah.
They can
Even
help
well, yeah.
themselves.
The states. Gavin Newsom was, even like how it's like, oh, we have a surplus right now. California has a surplus. All right. Well, then use some of that surplus to, pay for more testing kits or pay for more, health workers to, help with the testing.
Instead of
That's what
shoving
the
that shit
surplus.
in your
That's what the surplus is there for. That's you're keep saying before like this whole Corona stuff. You're saying like, oh, how can you say that California is not business friendly? We have this surplus. We have this surplus. Look at all this surplus we have. It's like, all right then use it.
yeah. Well, the surplus is not there.
Yeah, I know. I
It's either,
that was gonna be the next reveal. It's like, well, yeah, because it's probably not there because you're fucking lying. And
yeah, it's either
you
he's
are fucking
lying,
driving businesses out of California, you dumb fuck.
or he's if there is a surplus, that shit's going in right into his pocket.
Yeah, easily, easily, easily. Not even a question. But yeah,
So
long story
listen,
short,
well,
calm down. You only have one asshole. You don't need 50 rolls of toilet paper.
yeah. Like I said, if you just act like normal people and you buy like you normally do, uh, you're gonna be fine. Because
Yeah,
the
you'll
thing
be
is,
fine.
a lot of those services, a lot of those companies haven't shut down. They're still producing goods.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, I'm done talking about this. You have anything else to add?
No, no, I think I'm done too. I'm really tired of all this shit, to be honest. You know, it's funny. Like I will. Okay, I guess I will have one more thing to say. It's like, you know me. I fucking hate going out anymore. I'm getting to that point in my life where it's like, hey, you want to go to? No, I'm good. I just want to stay home. But now that
Right.
like I'm like now that I'm like forced to stay here, it's like, and I have no choice. It's like, fuck, dude. Like, and it'd be so nice because there's no people out there. So it's like, I wish I could just go. You know,
Oh
to
yeah. Yeah. The last thing I did for work before, pretty much the government shutdown. I was on the freeway. It was great. No cars. No, barely any traffic. I was
yeah.
able. I went from Chatsworth to like kind of Glendale area in 30 minutes.
Oh, you mean like the normal amount of time that it should take you to go there?
Exactly. Yes. It took me 30 minutes to get to Glendale, and
Yeah, it's been taking me like
at around like 11:30, like 12 o'clock. It took me
nice.
30
Yeah, it's been
minutes.
taking me 15 minutes to get across the valley. It's been great.
Yeah, it feels like Thanksgiving all over again.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving came early because everyone knows during Thanksgiving, LA empties because all the fucking transplants go home,
Yep.
and what is it? Traffic is reduced to what it should be. What it should be for the people born, born and raised. All right.
Well, continuing on this topic of sorry sexist shit, let's get on to our next topic.
Sorry, Zach. All right. All right. Yes. Let's go on to the next topic. I don't know. Well, I mean, you obviously heard it, but I don't know if any of you out there have heard of the term simp. But I guess
Why don't you expound upon what a simp is?
okay, um, a simp is a person, usually typically a man who who grovels and scrapes for the attention of a woman who he doesn't even know, and is desperately trying to cultivate a relationship with, um, through the application of monetary transactions. And the term simp it just means simple. Um, I wouldn't say that it's. I wouldn't compare it to say the other popular terms like cuck or incel, because cuck is more akin to someone who's already in relationship.
Is letting that person get fucked by somebody else.
Right, right. Who's allowing their partner to? I mean, yeah, it's. I mean, there is a zoological underpinning to that word, but I won't get into it right now. But yeah, it's cuck is more illustrative of someone who is in a relationship with someone already, but um, is either unwillingly or willingly allows their partner to mess around on the side. And incel, it might be comparable, but incels are viewed more as basement dwelling, unemployed type of men, whereas
A little bit of a
simps,
side note. You notice how all incels look alike too?
yeah, they look exactly how you think, or like they typically look exactly how you think, like long hair, greasy skin, uh,
They all wear the same
glasses.
glasses too. They
Yeah,
all wear the same
glasses.
type of glasses too.
Yeah, that's true.
It's fucking
Glasses,
weird.
kind of on the overweight side.
It's like this weird like cult.
Yeah, yeah, it's um, but yes, going back to simps, there is there's been this rising trend of simptitude going on, um, and for those of you who are paying attention to what I said, you might confuse it as prostitution, but it's not because it's completely done. It's completely done. Uh, it's not the transaction is not done in person. It's all over. It's all through internet and um,
To be,
and like
yeah.
money transfer kind of site like Venmo or PayPal or
Hell, prostitution has a little bit more dignity to it because at least you're getting something out of it.
right. Yeah. What the, what the what's happening here with these Sims is that they're literally preyed upon by these women who these admittedly very attractive women, but they're
You got your camera rolls and your titty twitchers and
yeah
what
the
have
titty
you.
streamers, and your body paint artists. But what
Hey,
they
trust
do
me,
is but what they do is
I-
they're selling the idea that that this person, let's just call them thoughts, THOT, which is an anagram for that hoe over there. Yeah,
yep.
so these thoughts and these men, and what these thoughts are doing is selling the idea of being in a relationship. They're selling false intimacy.
Was like probably the most famous one of recent note was that Belle Delphine who was selling her bathwater or some shit.
Right. Yes. I mean, but all it's funny because I kind of respect her. I respect her hustle.
You know, she does have
She's
my
she's
respect
more
too.
she's
It's like,
she's more upfront about like what she's doing. She knows she's a thought. She knows that she is uh she knows she's preying on the emotions of these young men, and I don't know why, but I respect her more.
well, yeah, because she's upfront about it. It's like, okay, it's like, all right, so I mean, at least everyone knows what they're getting
Right.
into
It's like,
from the
yeah,
start.
I know. It's like,
It's
yeah,
like
'cause
you're
she's like,
the
yeah,
like, hey,
she yeah,
if these dumbasses are gonna spend money on this, fuck it, I'm gonna make money off it. Cool. All right, that makes sense. And we talked about this a few weeks ago because it's you get all these dumbass on Twitter that I see kind of you know definitely in the thought category at least who are saying it's like,
mhm,
oh my god, this is so terrible, all these stupid guys that DM me about all this stuff and like they just have a small dick and it's think they hate tits and all this stuff. It's like I just want to do this. Like, okay, let's say you're not trying to do this, yet you can't say that your tits are no factor when you're barely wearing a shirt. It's like if someone had a choice between someone watching me play a game versus you watching them or watching you
Yeah,
play a game.
watching the e-thoughts.
Yeah, yeah, they're gonna go to her, they're gonna go to that chick.
Right.
Duh. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
hey, they're playing a game I like, and she's super hot. It's no brainer.
Right. I mean, similarly, if there were, a pair of, hot chicks, that talk about culture and politics and, and movies, similar to us, and people, and they were more popular than us, which they probably would be, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, it's.
I'd probably quit this and watch them too. No, but yeah, I think one of the most well known is this Ethot um who goes by the moniker Amaranth.
Yes, I know who. Yeah, I've
I
been
mean,
hearing
she
about her
does like
lately.
yeah. I mean, she's been known for a little while because because I've watched some stuff about Stefan Molyneux about this whole simp thing and and other YouTubers who talk about this. But yeah, I mean, she does Twitch streams and she plays video games and she does like workout streams
I mean, she's
and
hot. I get it.
yeah,
It's.
no, yeah, don't get yeah, I'm super hot. I completely admit that. But I think but what is so dangerous about her is again she's selling a fantasy because she's a married woman and it
Yeah,
recently and then I think it came out that she was married, and one of her longtime moderators, didn't know this and found out, and he flipped out. He was like saying, in like, and I think in a leaked text conversation with her, he was like saying like, oh, do you know how much money I given you, and how many times I've like defended you when people have gone to the chat and were talking shit about you and da da da, and she really didn't offer up that good of a defense. It was mostly like, what this was. I just because I yes, it was more like she was admitting that she omitted the fact that she was married. Um,
it's like, yeah, you're. I mean, the whole thing is kind of deceptive. It's really gross, all of it,
mhm.
to be honest. But the
Yeah,
fact, like,
absolutely.
on that level, it's even a little bit more disgusting because you're luring people in with, obviously, like you said, you're creating that fantasy, and
Hmm.
you're smoking hot, and
Hmm.
you I don't, she's probably never wearing her ring, during these
Right.
streams, and it's
Hmm.
like, because most people are just like, oh, she's married, like, there's no, yeah, what are we gonna get out of that?
It's like, yeah,
I
it's like no, it's like why waste my time and energy on this chick if she's married?
Yeah,
It's interesting.
exactly.
It's kind of like that like that one episode of that TV show Scrubs
Yeah.
where there was a character who's like supposedly been there the whole time, but the main character of JD never noticed her because she was married and she wore a wedding ring. And then
That's right.
it was about the time when this episode came about the time Lord of the Rings was the Lord of the Rings movies were coming out, and so like his best friend is like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, like when a chick wears a wedding ring, she's invisible." He's like, what? And kind of incredulously, he was like saying, it's like, there's no way that I'm that superficial or whatever. And then so his friend Turk is like, with all the, he kind of raises his hands, he's like, with all the married women in the room, please take off your rings. And then all of a sudden, like, it was like a relatively empty room, and then all of a sudden, poof, poof, like all these women miraculously appeared.
That's right. I forgot about that episode. Yeah, that's exactly right. Because to be honest, a woman with like a wedding ring might as well be a dude in my
Seriously.
opinion.
Yeah, I mean, yes, you could admire like how hot she is, but it's like, that's another man's woman. Yeah, the
But
wedding
yeah,
ring
no,
is like
I
is a
I
keep your hands
guarantee
off.
I guarantee this chick never wore her wedding ring in any of these streams, knowing that.
Oh no way! Absolutely, of course not. Of
And
course not, because
I mean, these guys.
the illusion must be sold, and any sign of like of her, being married or having a boyfriend would just not end well. I mean, just recently there was this one this uh, this one ethot who goes by the handle of Nico Lull. Um, uh, you
I've
might
heard that
you
name.
Yeah, uh, you might have heard about her recently because she did that TikTok video of her, her wearing, the Bernie Sanders shirt and lip syncing to that internet viral song "Okay Boomer."
That's yes. Okay, now I remember who this
Yes,
is.
and again, okay, just to explain some internet lingo. Okay, boomer is a meme. It's kind of like an evolution of. It's a dismissive way. It's a way of dismissing old people, and kind of in this or in a kind of in the similar fashion of saying like okay grandpa, but it's like okay boomer, like baby boomer. But yeah, she was at it for a long time trying to get that viral status. But it finally came in the form of that video, and then in a stream a little bit after that, she admitted that she had a boyfriend. And after before revealing that, she had an incredible influx of new followers. I think range. I think I forget, it's something with a four, like 4,000 maybe new followers after that video went viral.
Right, right.
But then after like it, after she had revealed probably accidentally that she had a boyfriend, her follower level went through the floor.
Plummeted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
plummeted. Um, but that's not the only thing. But then like more like I don't know, like she's desperately trying to reattain her status as one of the premier ethos out there, and so she's had she she did some streams where she had some pretty interesting takes on the whole simp phenomenon. And she
Hmm.
basically was saying like, "Oh yeah, simping is for kings. Only kings do simping. It's like why shouldn't a man worship a woman? And it is just like
Fuck
you're
you.
you're you're so fucking dumb. You are so fucking dumb.
It's well, I mean, it's okay.
It's like
You
how do you respect a man who just gives you like who just forks over all his money and like just basically worships your shadow, or who would crawl over miles of glass on their belly just to sweat in your shadow. How do you respect a man
I
like
would,
that?
yeah. Or I mean, you get these guys that are doing this for these like cam girls and stuff where they're fucking, masturbating on camera to, all these guys and guys
Mhm.
are throwing, their life savings at them
Right.
and the crazy thing is like they're not even really talking to that person at all. It's some like other like moderator that's like answering the questions or it's a business and it's just it's in one sense it's kind of like a disgusting level of deception that
Hmm.
these girls are doing,
Hmm.
but at the same time the fact that you're a guy that's now listen like yeah for if you're doing like stuff for like on Twitch or like like a YouTube live stream, and you want to support like um, your the channel that you like or whatever. Yeah, I do that sometimes. Like when I'm watching somebody that like I like their live streams or whatever. Yeah, I'll throw a few bucks here or there. That's nothing wrong with that. But when you're trying to throw your livelihood at this person, just trying to get them to notice you and to you know have a relationship with them, you're a fucking idiot. You're a loser.
You'll get no argument from me. In,
Those guys are losers. Losers with a capital, all capital letters. Loser.
it's a in well, I'm yeah. This whole thing, uh, like this whole simp phenomenon, was really interesting to me. And interestingly enough, I did have an opportunity to enter Simptitude did present itself to me.
You're about to become a simp, Andy?
No, I mean not actually, but because I okay, so there's this person on Instagram that I just happened
Uh-huh.
upon their profile, and what was it? They were announcing that they had like a OnlyFans account. And for those of you,
Hmm.
again, let me explain. OnlyFans is kind of like this microtransactional website uh, where you can get spicier content
Yeah.
than what's allowed on on Instagram or Facebook or what have you. More of the family friendly sort of sites. Even though at
Yeah.
times the things this even though at times the things you see on Instagram, but how the hell is this not being flagged? Um,
I seriously on Twitter too. It's like, how is like this
Twitter is a little bit more liberal,
lenient?
um, or lenient, as it were, with that stuff. I mean, there was a time when they're like porn stars would have like clips of like their movies on their accounts. But
Oh,
anyways,
they still do.
okay. I mean, it's been ages since I've opened up my own personal Twitter account. So, but anyways, so I saw one on the story that she was offering free subscription to her OnlyFans account. So I was
Hmm.
like, huh, okay. And I looked over her page, and yes, some of the content that she has is spicy. Um, but she didn't seem like the type to it was because a lot of this because this girl is a model, and she's done like implied kind of nudity stuff, and she shared some like implied nudity stuff on her Instagram account. So I was like, okay, let's see. I wanted I was doing some investigative journalism, as it were. So I signed up for a free account or free subscription, and what is it? Some and like some of the stuff wasn't that some of the open stuff that she would share wasn't that bad. It was a lot of like kind of tease stuff. Um,
Right, right.
right. But it wasn't until I started, the messages were coming in, and in the messages, it was, that's where the paywall is, and and that's where the money came into play because uh, they, she would send you things, but it'd be obscured, and it's like to access it, you would have to pay for it. Yeah, so I was like,
That's hilarious.
okay, there it is. And then a couple of days later, I knew this was going to happen, but it's like apparent, it's like this free subscription is about to expire. If you want to continue to access this material, please pay $10. I don't know, a month or a year
It's
to
like,
to
no.
have to be able to have continued access. I was like, there was a second nail. There it is. There's a second. There's the other shoe.
Are we sleeping together? No? Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna pay that.
Yeah. And so I was like, man, this is so deceptive. This is so messed up. Because I mean, some people might try to make a comparison to like kind of like in the beginning how you said like prostitution or even like a strip club. It's like, but at least you're actually there. You're
Right,
actually
you're there, you're
you're
live, you're
engaging.
you're there's a transaction. I mean, it's a horrible practice. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
disgusting in its own right, but
Mm-hmm.
for the guy, it's like at least you're fucking getting something. You're getting your money's worth.
Right.
You're getting kids thrown in your face, or
Mm-hmm.
you're getting fucked. But with this, it's just like, dude, you're a fucking loser.
Right. Yeah, but I did get to interact with her. At least I think, I hope, because in the message, she sent like she just sent innocuous like what are you doing? And I was just like, oh, nothing, just hanging out. It's like, what are you doing? And she's put out like, oh, just relaxing at home. I was like, and so I replied back, cool. What do you was like, just I wasn't trying nothing. I was just kind of talking to her like a normal person. So I was like, oh, so what are what's some favorite things you like to do to relax? And I forget what she said, but it was definitely something to try to get the dander up, as it were. And
Yeah,
then you know as you will. Uh, but
as
yeah,
one
but then
tends to
after that,
do.
yeah, as one tends to do, as one thought tends to do. Uh, but uh, but then yeah, after that,
A little bit of touching here and winking there. Yeah,
right,
it's
yeah, and it's like yeah, and so like and after that exchange, she did send me like a free picture, but it was like it was like it's very tasteful, nothing too revealing in it. But interestingly enough, uh, a couple days after that, the price of the subscription went down from like $10 to $5.
ooh, trying to get that incentive going, huh?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. Were you tempted at all, Andy?
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Because again, I mean, again, this woman is incredibly attractive, super hot. And if I ever didn't actually meet her in person, I would definitely make the moves.
Oh yeah. Would you have done it for $1, Andy?
For one, not even $1.
My man.
Not even $1. But yeah, I mean, so that's my report from behind the lines, as it were, in Simptitude or
From
Simptud,
the thought, from the
Simphood.
yeah, from the thought simp world.
Yeah.
Dude, it,
Yeah,
it's sad.
it's so
It's
sad.
so
It's
fucking.
so yeah, and like it's kind of it kind like the stuff that she posts. It's kind of like Instagram or Facebook where you could leave like a like or leave a comment, and it's just like the comments that these guys.
Dude, those comments are fucking.
Oh my god!
If you want
He
to feel
is.
better about yourself, guys, if you want to feel better about yourself, read these fucking comments because it
Yes.
is,
Oh my god.
God,
Ugh,
it's terrible.
it's like it's like do you it's like would you say this to an actual woman in real life? Like if she
Yeah.
was like if she was wearing like the most beautiful gown, her tits were just perfect and like the cleavage was just enough, and she was
Oh,
made up like the whole 9 yards. Would you say those things to her to try to get her interested in you in real life? That's the test. That's the test. And what I saw is just like it's the most sophomoric, simple, simple things you've ever read in your life.
oh,
It's
it's
like oh, it's like
ridiculous.
oh, it's like oh, it's like oh, baby, when you gonna get me a chance at that ass, or it's like I was like oh, I was like oh, baby, it's like that robe would really look good on on the floor of my bedroom. It's like oh,
That's where the
jeez,
real
really?
catcalling's at, dude. It's on these stupid
Yes,
like comment
yes,
pages.
exactly. Exactly. I mean, even like that chick that did like the 10 hours as a woman in New York thing. Like the worst I heard was, or not the worst, but you know, the majority of the so-called cat calls were pretty affirmative. It's
Hey,
like,
you
oh,
look great today.
it's like, oh yeah, you look great today. Oh, how you doing, mom? You look good. All right, like blessings. It's like, what? There's like probably like
Oh,
one guy who's kind of being a knucklehead during that whole time.
yeah. See, that's how I was a couple weeks ago. I was talking about those like videos that are so they're kind of those annoying where they're trying to like manipulate you into thinking a certain way, and they have like this music going on. Those are the type of videos I'm talking about. It's all fucking bullshit, and I fucking hate those videos so much. God, it makes me
Yeah.
angry. I fucking hate them so much.
Oh man.
And they'll put like the stupid like closed captioning things on there, and they'll highlight certain words like, oh, ooh, the feelings of can you feel it? It's like I feel rage right now that I want to punch through like my goddamn TV seeing this
Uh,
shit.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's all manipulative. Like that girl that did the 10 hour video. It's like, are you sure that's all the footage? I mean, not to call you a liar or nothing, but are you really giving us all the footage?
I'll
Um,
call her a liar. She is. None of those people are liars, dude. Like they make shit up and then
Mhm.
but they don't. Oh, it's like oh fuck, we didn't get the coverage we needed. Fuck, we'll just make it up. That's where you get bitches like Mattress Girl and all this shit.
Mhm. Yeah, but remember, it's hashtag believe all women.
Most retarded thing I've heard in my life.
Yeah, I mean, if you wouldn't advocate for the opposite, then you know why would you advocate for that? Uh, I guess that standard. It's like you wouldn't if you wouldn't advocate for hashtag believe all men, then why should we hashtag believe all women?
Yeah, I don't believe anybody to be honest. I have like maybe like 10 people in my life that I actually trust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, same,
So I don't believe anybody.
same.
I think I think most people are full of shit.
Word. Yeah, Sims, man. Uh, it's, it's really sad.
Losers. So they're
It's just
losers.
sad. It's really sad.
Now listen,
You know.
listen. I have spent way more money than I've ever wanted to, but I was in a relationship and I was getting something out of it. But
Oh yeah, yeah, you were.
a lot of it was craziness, but yeah, sure. I got something out of it.
uh, yeah,
Oh
I
god.
mean,
Oh, and then
yeah, I mean,
but
gentlemen
even
out
now,
there.
like yeah, I mean, unfortunately the thing I'm in is long distance, but I'm still getting something out of it. It's not some like not like there's 100 other guys that are trying to, fuck this person and we're all throwing
Right,
our
and
life
it's not
savings
like
at
yeah,
this.
and she's not yeah, she's not like it's not every week she's asking for like 3 grand, right?
Oh, hey, honey, can I get 3 grand? And then, no, I don't think it's a good time for you to come visit me.
Right. Oh yeah, I saw a clip from Gavin McInnes, and he was talking about like that 90-day fiance thing.
Dude, I fucking died. Oh my god, it was so sad.
Oh my god,
Oh
it
my,
was. 'Cause he was
that
like fucking
guy,
talking to her. He's like, oh yeah, I could. He's like, yeah, they won't let me. He's like, they canceled my flight and they said I can't get the refund.
oh my
And the
god.
guy was like saying like, oh, well, I'll just come to you. And she's like, oh no, right now the weather's not that great. I want you to come when the weather is good.
And the level of disinterest in that lady's voice, oh, it was just, oh, fucking, fucking
Yeah, you could tell like
idiot.
yeah, you could tell that she didn't give two shits about that guy, which is again
No,
sad.
it's,
Sad for
oh,
him. Sad for him. Sad for him.
this nail salon, fuckhead
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is just the creepiest guy in the world. Tears streaming down his face that he had his flight canceled and couldn't see her, and the
Uh-huh.
level of like disinterest in her voice is just, oh, yes. That guy gets everything that he's getting everything that he fucking deserves for being an idiot.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean the Schadenfreude was just too good, too good.
No, I
But
was I was
but
listening to that
still, you
episode.
gotta. But still, you kind of feel for the. You can't help but pity this guy.
Mild pity. It's just
Okay, mild pity for Robert, you heartless bastard.
yeah. I well, it's fun. I can understand where you kind of get like maybe get roped into something like that initially, but then when you start to see like I'm not really getting anything out of this. I let me reassess. Let me reassess what the hell I'm doing with my life, right? No, that guy was just fuck it, sunken costs and everything.
Uh, yeah, I mean, and like his story about how while he was working at that nail salon, it was like his previous girlfriend that brought him in, who was like Asian, and like, but he was like after they broke up, he was still there.
Yeah, he's a cuck too. That's the thing. It's like, well,
Yeah, he's a simp and a cuck. Oh my god,
he's the whole package of
he's the whole
just
package.
sadness.
I bet. Well, no, wait, he's a cuck and he's a no, he's a simp and a cuck. So yeah, his lady was probably getting some side dick. Um, I don't know.
But I
Yeah,
wonder
if
like
he was an
he's actually
incel, if he was an incel too, it'd be the trifecta.
based off of like everything that's going on there. That dude probably never fucked anybody. At least none of these chicks.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I understand like there's some men who are like utterly destroyed by like their exes or whatever, but this guy didn't seem like he had a set to begin with.
Yeah, dude, you like
You
that?
know?
I don't know. It's
Because I don't, yeah, because it doesn't seem like he got utterly wrecked by his ex. It's just like, she was probably getting some side dick, and she probably found a better dude, and just like, like deuces.
she
But
probably like felt the pathetic sadness that was just dripping off of this guy, and it's
mhm,
like, yeah, I'm out of here.
yeah, gentlemen, we're just saying, be careful out there. Careful out there. Do not become a simp.
Like,
Do not, and like simping. Also, there's an element of white knighting in there for white knighting.
oh
Don't
god, I
don't do
hate those
that.
fucking
Don't do
jerk
that.
offs too.
Don't do that. All right. Yeah, because like that first example that I told you about that guy who was like who was like a chat moderator for that one ethot, and like he would
Lumbering, whatever the fuck his
yeah,
name is.
yeah, and and like when he found out that she was had a husband, and he's like, oh, do you know how many times I defended you? Right there,
That's your own
right
fault, idiot.
there. That's your own fault. Who said that yet? You're not that chick's husband. You're not her boyfriend. You have no moral. You have no obligation. Not even moral. You don't even have an obligation to defend her.
It'd be one thing if like, you're like, you were fucking her and you were the moderator and defending her, and then you find out that she had a husband. That'd be pretty fucked up to find out.
Yeah.
But you can't see that wasn't the case.
No, not at all. Not even close. All
God. Ah, just like listen, guys, you get wrecked if you get messed up in a relationship, it's gonna be okay. Don't worry about it.
right.
I've been there.
All right. This
Don't
too shall
don't simp
pass.
yourself out. Don't don't buy, these OnlyFans subscriptions and talk to cam girls. Don't do any of that shit. Just suck it up and get right back on the horse, dude. It's-
All right. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna get. Yeah. You might get bucked off. You might even get stomped on a few times or two. But bones heal, hearts mend, chicks dig scars.
okay, Lance Murdoch. We're are we gonna go to Duff Gardens now?
And there's your second Simpsons reference of the show. Well, that's like more like third.
Yeah, it's probably our third.
Sorry, it's third. All right. I think we've talked all that we can about Sims for tonight.
Fucking losers. You can quote me on that.
All right. All right. We come to the. All right. We're coming to the end of the show. And as promised, we have the second movie review for tonight, and that is Boondock Saints, keeping with our Irish theme month. And today's St. Patrick's Day,
St.
so
Patrick's Day.
happy St.
Oh,
Patty's
by
Day.
the way, quick thing, because you got to the New England fans are in
Oh, that's
complete
right.
mourning today,
Yeah.
and the
Oh
fact
my
that they
god.
can't go to the fucking pub and drink themselves silly and just
Oh my god.
cry into their
Yeah.
fucking green beer is, oh, it's perfect. Fuck New England fans, and Tom Brady, fuck all those guys. Fuck them. This coming from a Bills fan, of course, because I can't fucking stand New England.
Yeah. Yeah. For those of you, yeah, Tom Brady has left the Patriots and is going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You think that's where he's going, or did he say that's where he's going?
Last, I saw. I could have sworn I saw something said that he was going to the Bucks.
Wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, as of 6 hours for Fox News, like Tom Brady joins Tampa Bay Buccaneers, agrees to deal in principle. Uh, 20, 22 minutes ago from Yahoo Sports, The Rush, Tom Brady cancels Patriots dynasty, joins Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So yeah, he's going to the
Okay, I guess.
Bucks.
I guess because I initially heard that report this morning, and I don't think they had figured. I don't think he had stated where he was going to.
Hmm. Okay, so you heard it earlier, before the announcement.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so all right, Tampa Bay. That'll be interesting. I love the power shift in the AFC East. Oh yes, come on, Buffalo. We're gonna win that division, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you need a minute? You
The
need a
Pats.
towel or something? You need to get a towel or something?
I feel good, dude. Calling Sims
No,
fucking losers and Tom Brady's leaving England, dude. This is the best pandemic ever. Everyone's crying into their beers at home. I'm having a great old time.
yeah. Did you cream your pants? Did you cream your pants over this news? Jeez.
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, all right. There. Okay. All right. Let's get into the last.
Too bad I don't have
Last.
an ethos to throw money at, though.
And they probably feel good enough to do it.
Fuck it, they gotta support somebody, right?
All right. Let's get into the movie review, which again is Boondock Saints. Came out in 1999. It's a crime drama. It's one of the early starring roles for Norman Reedus.
Yeah, really young Norman Reedus.
Yeah, really, really young.
Well, because at first I was like, I know that guy, and I was like, is that Norman Reedus? And because there's certain things that he would say I was like, God, it sounds so much like him. And I was like, I had to pause the movie. It's like, I gotta look this up because it's gonna bug me the entire film. I'm not gonna pay attention.
But yes, it is Norman Reedus. And also starring Sean Patrick Flannery.
Who was in Dead Zone?
That's right. All right. Let me give you all the synopsis for this movie. Oh, that's right. Willem Dafoe, of course. Uh, one of the bigger names in this movie.
Probably. Well, I mean, he wasn't then, but he's probably become the biggest name out of everyone that was in that film.
Well, even at that time, uh, he was still the biggest name because again, he just worked with Martin Scorsese in The Last Nation of Christ. So
True, true.
yeah, so he was the biggest nut on that tree.
Yeah. And if you're into vintage porn, you had Ron Jeremy in there, so
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, he played like the low level uh, right hand to the boss.
yep.
All right, back get to the synopsis. Tired of their crime over. Tired of the crime overrunning the streets of Boston, Irish Catholic twin brothers Connor and Murphy are inspired by their faith to cleanse their hometown of evil with their own brand of zealous vigilante justice. As they hunt down and kill one notorious gangster after another, they become controversial folk heroes in the community. But Paul Smecker, an eccentric FBI agent, is fast closing in on their blood-soaked trail.
Um, already, like right from the get go, way better than Miller's Crossing.
Yes.
think I was about like a quarter of the way through the film when I texted you. I was like, dude, this movie is so much better. um,
Mm-hmm.
so, anyways, one thing I noted right away because because Willem Dafoe's character, Agent Smecker, comes in fairly early on
Mm-hmm.
in the film,
Mm-hmm.
and we've all for the most part watched Joker, this within the past year or so when it came out, and you're gonna notice a ton of similarities to um, Arthur Fleck's character, played by Joaquin Phoenix, like the voice, the mannerisms. It's very Joker-esque.
Mm-hmm.
It was like whoa, like that's it has to be where Joaquin Phoenix got his inspiration for the character, or for to how to play that character.
Right in that way. Yeah. Yeah. When you mentioned that to me, it just clicked right away. I was like, you're right. I and I too and I noticed it also, but I just couldn't place the performance. But once you did mention Joker, I was like, that's what it was. Yeah, like because the way, well, I mean, spoil. I mean, well, we're reviewing this movie, so there's gonna be some spoilers. But it turns out that that Agent Smecker, is a homo, and so he comes out kind of like
Which
he
came
kind
out of nowhere.
yeah, and so he comes off like kind of very flamboyant, and like that opening scene where he's like inspecting the crime scene. His hand movements, his hands on the hips and like his gesturing are very effeminate. And so, but then you don't really suspect that, being that he's like this, hard nosed kind of detective. But
Yeah,
it isn't until the scene where he's getting a call about this other crime scene, and he's in bed with like his Filipino boy toy.
but
That
I
he's
thought
like,
this was
yeah, yeah,
bad.
during the call, like the little Filipino guy is like trying to cuddle and snuggle him. He keeps like pushing, smacking him and like getting him away. And then and the little Filipino houseboy is like, oh, I just wanted the cuddle. And then and then Willem Dafoe looks at him and is like, faggot.
I was dying. I was on the floor laughing so hard. It's like that's just great.
Yeah. Yeah. So presumably Willem Dafoe's character wasn't a bottom.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. uh, but yeah, I think this movie was definitely better than Miller's Crossing. It was a lot
But
more. It was a lot more enjoyable. I think, really, I don't want to say original, but very unique story.
the characters were fun. The story was interesting. Um, Lots of good action. It kind of it's that era, kind of that late '90s, early 2000s era where
Yeah, it was that's very experimental.
some of some of the gun scenes reminded me a little bit of Mission Impossible 2 in a sense, but
Yes.
to here it makes more sense because this wasn't a super serious realistic crime drama. It felt like it was a comic book come to life, though
Yeah.
it's not really. And so for it to be a little bit more over the top in its action wasn't as uh disjointed as it was like when watching Mission Impossible 2, where it's like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
It's
Right.
terrible.
Just a quick sidebar. Yeah, I think Mission Impossible 2 was an overcorrection or overreaction, the criticism of the first Mission Impossible, where there's like, oh, it was too serious. Is there wasn't there wasn't enough action. So like
Those
an
people are
attempt.
crazy. So good.
I mean I at the time I was still a young man and like in like junior high and stuff, so I didn't really appreciate Mission Impossible 1. But going back and watching it as an adult, I was like, wow, this is really good, and it's
It
engaging in
was
like in a very like this intrigue, cloak and dagger, like cat and mouse thing that that I at the
oh
time as a young teenager I didn't really appreciate it, but as an adult I was like, wow, this is really good.
yeah. I always go back and like I watch that movie quite. Yeah, it's I rewatch that movie every once in a while just because like God damn it, dude, it's so good.
Mhm. Right, but
Like I don't even think
yeah,
of
like you were saying for
idea.
this movie, yeah, like it was all kind of cartoonish comic book violence, over the top like setups, where it's like when Willem Dafoe's character was like sussing out the first crime scene, he automatically knew that that this was all self defense, like the brothers were the ones who were attacked and they were just again defending themselves, and was able to suss it out right away. Um,
Yeah, it's almost like he had this sixth sense for like it's where he was able to see what actually happened. It's
right.
and it's I think it's also kind of funny because you have Sean Patrick Flannery who was in the Dead Zone, who he was the bad guy in that series, but it's kind of an idea of where uh, Anthony Michael Hall he would his character would be able to touch something and be able to see something either in the past, present, or future about it. And
Uh,
it's kind of like Agent Smecker. He kind of
mhm.
almost had that type of ability to see when he
Right.
looked at
Yeah.
these crime
He
scenes.
intuited a lot of things. I think maybe that's the that's where they like when they what was it when they did CSI. That's where they got the idea of like of having like the investigators kind of like imagine kind of like the incidents that are happening as they're
Oh,
going through the
certainly.
crime scene.
Yeah, definitely. I would. That's they probably took inspiration from this.
Hmm. Right. Yeah. Because yeah,
But
when I saw that, I was like, dude, that's like CSI.
yeah, and it's even like the characters themselves are kind of like these cartoon characters
Hmm.
in a little bit, these comic book characters, because they are kind of these funny, over the top guys. But it's not a bad. It's not in a bad way. It's a good way. It's like you're,
Right.
um,
They're charming, likable characters. And so
yeah.
like there's it's like so it's no one it's there's no wonder why you root for these guys because they're so damn likable.
I will say, like, one of my favorite scenes, like, was right from the beginning. Was like the them at the bar at
Mm-hmm.
McGinty's. I love that bartender. He's the
The
the uh the
old man,
stuttering
yeah,
Tourette's old
yeah, like
man.
fuck shit,
He's
fuck.
like, ah, fuck. And
Yeah,
he's
and
like
there's
the
like
porky
three
pig
nuns in
with,
the corner.
and they're like, yeah, they're doing like the, but he's like Porky Pig with Tourette's. It's great.
Yeah,
It's,
that's right.
but he gave me my this the fuck ass. I'm
Yeah,
I
I
about died.
mean, I think there are a lot of unique and likable characters in the movie. Even just
Or
like
like,
even like side characters.
uh, or they were fucking up those Russian mobsters, and
Yeah,
they tied the guy down to the bar, and then they lit his ass on fire.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
But yeah, so that was really good. Yeah, but yeah, the brothers too. The uh, was it Connor and
Murphy,
what was the other? I'm sorry,
Murphy, Murphy.
Murphy. Yeah. Um, the way they played off each other was so good.
Mhm.
The chemistry between Reedus and Flannery were just it was you almost felt like they were brothers.
Right, yeah.
Um,
It's like it was very natural. Like their chemistry together. It's like yeah, like
yeah,
you were saying that you would believe that they were actual brothers.
yeah, and it was just I like this movie. It's fun, man.
Hmm.
It didn't take itself too seriously, but like it
Hmm.
wasn't. It was just fun. I had a great
Yeah, I
time
mean,
watching
nor
this
was
movie.
it really trying to be like um, some serious art piece that was like trying to say something. I mean, maybe it was, but it just didn't come off as that. Like
Right, right.
there was no pretense to this movie, which which is so enjoy. Which I mean, nowadays is like it's so few and far between where a movie is not is not lecturing you about something.
Yeah, that's a perfect thing. Is like it's not lecturing you about anything. I mean,
Hmm.
hell, I mean, it has a scene where it's like, a gay guy is telling, the guy you just fucked. It sounds like you're such a fag.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then when you have like, and then like, you have this confessional scene where one of the characters is, has a gun on a priest. But
Yeah,
then, yeah, but then one of the other characters comes and puts a knife on that guy's throat. So they're kind of in this weird Mexican standoff.
yeah, yep. It's fucking hilarious, dude. Um, were there any scenes or like what are like some scenes that stood out to you that you really enjoyed?
I think I liked. Well, I liked the last scene that Agent Smecker kind of CSIs. Where he's like so into it that he kind of like mirrors what they actually did. But like at the end, like he gets to the point where he's kind of driven crazy because there's no more evidence for him to like follow, and so he just kind of loses it.
Yeah, it was because there was it was at the house,
Hmm.
and he's like, and there's six guys that came in. And it's like
Right,
one
but
of the
yeah,
things he got, and
yeah,
it's
one of
like it
the
was
few
one guy
things that he
with
got,
his gun.
which was kind of like a running gag because like the first scene that we're introduced to Agent Smecker, there's like this kind of Boston PD, high charger here. He's like, telling, giving his theory about what happened to like those two Russian mobsters. Like, yeah, this big guy just fell on him. But Agent Smecker's like, go get me a coffee, and like, CSIs it and like figures everything out. But in this last instance, though, he was actually right when it's like, oh, that because Agent Smecker's like, okay, and then six guys came out and shut up the place, and he says, and that Boston PD detective was like, are you sure it was six guys? So couldn't it have been one guy with six guns? And then he's kind of like it was like don't be an idiot, and smacks him in the head.
Yeah. But the funniest part about that is like because he after he's recreating the scene, and he's going
Uh-huh.
fucking crazy. Like he's I mean sweating his balls off doing in this scene, and he starts firing his gun too.
Oh
Holy
yeah.
the clip, dude! Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how
that's right.
that's how excited he was. Just recreating this scene in his head. It's
Right.
just it's just yeah, that I love that scene because it's just like what were the other people like cops around him thinking is like dude what the fuck
I know.
is
Like,
going
how is this? Yeah, how is this guy in charge? And why weren't why didn't the cops like tackle his ass immediately?
exactly It's like but it's
I
so
mean, I
funny.
know it's a movie. It's it's its own reality. So suspension of disbelief. Okay, I get it. But still, it's just
Yeah,
like I can't believe this is happening.
yeah. No one stopped him. They're like, no one fucking blinked an eye, dude. They just let him shoot off his like it's some like Fourth of July party.
Exactly.
I honestly think Agent Smecker was my favorite character in this film.
Oh yeah. Not one of the
Yeah,
brothers.
no, I mean I
Or
like them too, but I think just I love Willem Dafoe's just he really dove into this role, like just went crazy, dude. Like I felt like he was flamboyant, he was crazy, and his character was fun. I really liked his character.
what about or not even Rocco?
Rocco is pretty funny too. I mean, he is the funny man. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the,
Oh yeah, the joke
when
that he tells at the beginning that was awesome too.
because I've heard this joke before, and
Yeah,
like
me too.
some people have told me this, and I was like, oh, I mean, I laughed because I thought it was funny, but I heard it on this. Is like, this is where they got this joke. Some
Yes,
kind of
exactly.
cinematic archaeology, from.
Yeah,
I assume
yeah,
that this is where that joke.
but instead of another movie, it's real life.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I was probably when this movie came out, I was wait, when did this movie come out? I think it was in January of '99.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was still in eighth grade when this movie came out. So when I heard this joke, yeah, I from my friends, they obviously saw this movie.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was. He was a funny character too. It just that guy was always getting, you know, into something. He was,
Mm-hmm.
of in a way, I guess you could say he was the comic relief. It's even though everyone was kind of comic relief.
Right.
But yeah, no, he was a great character.
If
Um,
you thinking,
okay, we'll have fun. All right, so I'll talk a little bit more about the film. Um, yeah. So the thing with I'm trying to think of another scene that really I liked from this. Um, the honestly, like all the what I thought was really creative is that we're getting the story of Connor and Murphy, of their um, of their doings. We're not like we're not necessarily following them. They're almost like kind of it's like we are Agent Smecker, and we're going through and kind of following these two brothers on in like what they're doing. So like all these crime scenes, we're not actually seeing them doing it. We're seeing the recreation of how Agent Smecker sees it. So I thought that was kind of an interesting way of kind of kind of taking it, and it does kind of have the that like you were saying that CSI mentality to it, like where um, they're not witnessing the crime; they're just kind of recreating it because we
right?
never actually
Yeah,
see what the brothers are doing, what
right.
the
That's actually a
brothers and
good point.
Rocco.
That's actually a good point because yeah, we're this is all kind of after the fact, and I mean that it kind of makes sense because even when we're first introduced to the brothers, it's after the fact,
Right,
and so we never. I mean, the only time we're actually shown them committing one of these, kind of hits is at the end,
right,
and it's not recounted to us, through Agent Smecker or somebody else. It's like we actually see them, entering the building and taking control of the room and ultimately executing uh,
Yeah, well,
the
and here's why I think that's the case, because by that point, because like the last two kind of scenes, Agent Smecker's helping them. So he's not recreating the scenes anymore. He's actively helping them. So
right.
in a way, I see Agent Smecker as the main character of this film. The kind of anti-hero, if you will. And
Mm,
we're kind of like living through his. It's almost like we're living through his journey and trying to follow these
mm-hmm,
guys.
mm-hmm.
And he gets to a point where it's like, yeah, obviously his only focus is on justice, and he's like, these guys are taking out the people that I want, that I have all these dossiers on. I should help them. And so, and
Right.
he
I mean,
does.
and that's the kind of that's the confessional scene that I previously referenced because Agent Smecker he gets loaded uh, one night and he's obviously having some sort of a crisis uh, of conscience or faith.
Right.
Well, because well, I think maybe both because um, he's having a crisis of conscience about him like identifying with like the brothers, these vigilantes, but also a crisis of faith. Not that he is a person of faith, but his faith in justice.
Yeah, exactly.
And so he goes to the priest for confessional, but he's really seeking advice. Saying, "Oh, Father, I'm trying to hunt down these men, but I can't find any fault with what they're doing." And
Right.
so,
And I guess, if the movie was kind of pushing some sort of message, like it is kind of like an ethical question of like, you know, it's kind of like the idea of Dexter, right? Yeah, the guy is
right,
a killer. He's a bad guy technically, but he's taking out the bad guys. So are they really
right,
doing bad?
right, and it's not like that these ambiguous types of are they really bad guys? But no, these guys have like records. They're they're known. They're known to be
Yeah,
evildoers. It's not like, oh, like this person might eventually one day become the next Hitler or something. It's like, no, that's not what's happening. It's like these are known people who are known to have done evil things, and they either have a record or it's just known. And so there's no doubt about their guilt. And I think that's why one of my friends he was really obsessed with this movie. Um, he actually I think he wanted to be like uh, these brothers. Um,
and hey, had those Russian mobsters just left that bar alone, they would have been just fine.
exactly. Yeah, consequences,
Don't fuck with Irish people's bars, man.
right?
Don't fuck with the pub.
Yeah, don't fuck with the pub.
But yeah, no, this is a fun movie, dude. I really like this movie a lot, and
Mhm.
I was kind of like our last film. It was they spent like $6 million on it, and they initially made like 30,000 or something, like 30 to $50,000 on it. Like they lost a shit ton of money. Um, but unlike Miller's Crossing, this movie finally did make its money back, plus a lot more. They made a profit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it when we did Miller's Crossing, but yeah, the budget was 10 to 14 million, but then they're not including they're definitely not including advertising. which would probably knock it up to 20
It's
million.
mainly production. It's mainly production costs, is what they're um,
Right?
probably
But then yeah,
stating.
I mean yeah. But let's just let's just say that's $20 million
Yeah.
for everything. But they only made $5 million at the box office. They only made a quarter of what they spent. So
Oof,
that
bad.
yeah, and then yeah for Boondock Saints, like the box office, yeah they spent 6 million, but they only like at the box office, just at the box office, they made a piddly $30,471.
Ooh,
And
God.
again, that 6 million is probably closer to 10 million with advertising and such.
Now, I wonder if part of that, like, I'm trying to think of like what other big films came out around that time.
Uh
And
huh.
I also heard that part of it was also because this was coming off of after like the whole Columbine thing too. So people were kind of like
Oh, that's right.
think kind of like this that might have really hurt the movie initially.
Hmm. Yeah, all the gun violence. That's right. Oh, what the heck? That was way off. Oh
For
no. Yeah. It's Last Temptation of Christ was in 1988. That was
oh, so
11 years ago. Yeah, that was 11 years ago. So it wasn't recently. I mean, relatively speaking, it was recent. But yeah,
right.
that was 11 years ago.
I'm trying to think of what else he was in like throughout that time.
Willem Dafoe?
Because this, yeah, because this is pre Spider Man, so he wasn't Norman Osborn.
Yeah, but that was
Uh,
2002.
right, yeah, that was a couple years after this film.
Yeah. But let me see. Willem Dafoe. Did a film called Heaven's Gate, uncredited. Let's see if I can find something like really big. Oh, right, he was in Platoon.
Was he?
Yeah, he was Sergeant Elias Gordon.
Oh
Yeah, I mean, for those
yeah.
of you unfamiliar, he's that guy. Like they use that shot always in like the promo stuff on TV where like he's being shot in the back and he's like throwing up his arms.
That's yes. Okay, I haven't seen Platoon in
I totally forgot about that.
I forgot he was in that film.
Yeah, me too.
So yeah, no, he was pretty well known at that point then.
Yeah, he was. Right, and then oh yeah, and he was also in Mississippi Burning.
Really?
Yeah, he was. I totally forgot. I don't know why I forgot.
I,
I've seen Mississippi Burning. Yeah, but he played Agent Alan Ward opposite Gene Hackman.
oh man, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Damn, dude.
he was the more straight laced agent.
That's right. All this Willem
Wow,
Dafoe research that we're doing right now.
I know. Yeah, I mean, yeah. In terms of film, yeah, his career starts in the like literally on 1980.
But yeah, no, this is I don't know, do you have any other like characters that you liked or scenes or
Uh, No, no, yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. It's, like Robert was saying, it's a lot of fun. It's just kind of really enjoyable nonsense.
Yeah,
Um, and I think, like you were saying, Agent Smecker is the main character for this movie. Because we're seeing this all through his perspective, and we kind of go through like that crisis that he has, like where he's like, I should be tracking these guys down, but I don't disagree with what they're doing. So you have so you have this internal conflict where it's like, yes, these two are vigilantes, and they should be stopped because no one should take the law into their own hands. But at the same time, they're taking out known evildoers,
exactly.
who are either able to, like, walk or skate through the justice system because they have connections, or they fought judges and politicians and whatnot. So
And yeah, this movie just does not give a fuck too. It's either, I mean, they had this like the you had the scene with Agent Smecker calling his love boy a fag. You had
yeah,
Rocco shooting his kind of heroin addicted girlfriend's cat.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
It's like,
it's
I'll fucking
yeah,
shoot
this
myself
this
being
yeah,
Billy the
this
Cat's
movie
fucking name.
yeah this yeah, this movie gives zero fucks. Well, I would also say that Billy Conley's character was, I think, the most mysterious, which made him pretty interesting.
Now, is he the
He
was
was,
he the prisoner?
yeah, he was a prisoner. He was Il Deuce.
Yeah, Ildus.
Yeah, which is pretty funny because I mean, I think for a lot of people, Billy Conley, is kind of like this comedic figure, or he at least offers. He's a character that offers a lot of comedic relief. Like, I think one of the most recent was, in Last Samurai, where he played the sergeant, opposite to Tom Cruise's captain.
Yeah, that's right.
In one of their first battles, Tom Cruise orders him to, head, to retreat back to the rear, and and Bill, and, like, because he's a stubborn Irishman, he says, like, with all due respects, Captain, shove it up, cramp. He's like, shove it up your ass.
Yeah, that's right. Oh boy.
Yeah, yeah, but I just love, like, the mystery behind his character. Then ultimately, at the end, he's revealed to be the same as the brothers. Because
Yeah.
because even when the Italian mob boss was looking to hire him, they were kind of like they were talking about the legend of this guy and how he had a code, and his code was like no women and no children.
Yep.
So yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah,
it's very
it's like we're
similar to
not given.
this code as the brothers.
Yeah, and we're not really given a whole lot of information about him. No name, no nothing really. And yeah, it turns out that he's at least in a spiritual sense the same as the brothers. But you even thought that maybe he might be their father.
Yes, I do. Yeah, because one, he's Irish, and then secondly, because he knew the same prayer that the brothers, that Connor and Murphy gave just before they killed people, or executed, and it's
Right.
and Connor and Murphy, when Rocco asked that they teach him that prayer, they said like, "Oh, we can't. It's not for outsiders. It's a family prayer." So that's what made me
Right.
think that. That's what made me think because Il Deuce knew the prayer that meant that they were familiar, they were tied as family. So, and then and the amount of time that he spent in prison could explain the absence of Connor and Murphy's father.
Yeah. So I think that's I think that's an interesting thought about his character. Because I think that honestly it kind of plays out. It's so I think that's an interesting theory, Andy. Maybe it's an original theory. I don't know. I didn't really. Um, I'd have to look see if there was anybody saying that, but
Mm-hmm.
could be an original theory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think it's just a logical conclusion to draw, given
Right,
given
right,
the
right.
given the information that we're given. But yeah, I mean, it might be. I mean, I don't know. After this, I'll jump onto the internet, do a search real quick.
Well, shall we give our score, our
Yeah,
star
absolutely. All
review?
right, let's give our rating. Why don't you start us off?
This is 3.5 stars for me, easy.
Okay, 5 stars.
Yeah, this is like I said, all for all the reasons. It's fun. The characters are fun. The movie doesn't give a fuck. It's 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 absolutely great. It's over the top. I love it.
All right, all right. You said 3.5 or three?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
I'm gonna go give it a 4, just because of nostalgia. Um, uh, it's funny because it's weird how much you forget about a movie because I watched this movie as a young man, not exactly when the movie came out, but just as a younger man.
Right.
But just seeing it again, it's like, man, I forgot a lot about this movie. But watching it again, it did bring me back. It did bring back a lot of memories. Uh, so yeah, and that's why I'm giving it a 4.
All right. Should we reveal next week's film for the review?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Next week's movie will be The Departed.
All right. It's gonna be a fun one.
yeah.
Fucking
So if you guys want to, watch it and come and jump into the chat and give us your 2 cents as well, or give us your thoughts, you're more than welcome to do so. So that's next week. Next week, same time.
Yep.
Um, all right, all right. That's the last bit of the agenda for tonight's show. Let's shut her down because Rob is about to knock it the fuck out.
Dude, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm running on like not a lot of sleep the last few days.
All right, yeah. Okay. We'll shut it down real fast. Okay, so thank you for joining us. Don't forget to join us again next Tuesday at 8 p.m. ish. Same channel, same station. Don't forget to check out the library of other shows. We got the main Circle of Jerks main podcast. We have Nocturnal Transmissions, of course, and Rob's gaming channel or show, Up by Up Down. Don't forget to follow us on our various social media accounts: Twitter at PodcastCOJ, Instagram at Circle of Jerks Podcast, and Letterboxd at PodcastCOJ.
Yes, sir.
All right, and with all that said, we thank you, and we'll see you next time. And don't do anything I would.